It is No Gifts Please, the parenting podcast by the pair with no real gifts, but a whole lot of gumption. Hey everyone, I'm Steve Noviello.
And I'm Jenny Anchondo.
I love that cha-cha-cha in our open music.
Our music gets me going.
It does. It gets me going as well.
It's chair dancing like no other over here.
I remember when I picked it for the show and I was like, okay, what says like fun, like get up and go, like we're your friends kind of,
we're your friends.
Like
go
come
for
in
your
with us.
20-minute power walk or do
the laundry. Fold with us.
Well done, because everybody that listens to the show is doing the laundry.
We're getting stuff done. We're getting stuff done. Okay, so have you been to the State Fair yet?
I am going for live shots for News Nation.
Oh, which day are you going? Are we going to be there at the same time?
Next week.
I'll be there next week too.
Friday?
I'll be there Friday.
Oh my God.
The whole
Where are we
show.
going to the State Fair together?
My whole show is going to be live at the State Fair. That's the plan. And again, by the time this airs, it'll be...
who knows by then.
It'll be December. But
we're wanting to do like a national view, or like for people that aren't in Texas. It's sort of like a look.
Do you have your content picked out yet?
Situation. We've been going back and forth on it.
So we have, we shot some stuff, like pre-shot some stuff.
Yes.
One of which I feel like is going to end up in like a viral meme.
Oh, no.
So, you know the Fletcher's corn dog people.
I almost said, is it about a corny dog?
Well, yes and no. So they have it's kind of not an mentorship program at the State Fair where like they will hook you up with an established person who does what you want to do. And like, you'll learn that kind of ins and outs or whatever. So our story is about this Korean company that makes Korean corn dogs. And their mentor was Fletcher's, which
what a great mentor.
Right, I mean, the best. I mean, you learn from the best. So we're like, okay, cool. Let's go and see what makes the Korean corn dog different.
Right.
So the Korean corn dog is a hot dog on a stick with a giant cube of like mozzarella on the top of it, right? It's rolled in a thicker batter that has like rice flour and some other Asian things. And then like it's rolled in panko breadcrumbs. So it's like crunchy when you eat it. Like not like, I mean, so it's like, It's like, think of like a hot dog. A corn dog is like maybe like a ½ inch in diameter, bigger than the actual hot dog. This is much thicker. Here's the problem. What we discovered during this live to tape shoot is that when the corn dog, and I know you can't see me because it's on a podcast, but think of this.
Maybe that's the two people that watch the YouTube version.
The length of the dog is the dog, and that doesn't change. But the cheese does soften and melt, but it's still held in by the flour and the panko. So it creates, let's call it a mushroom-like head on the top of the corn dog.
I hear you.
So they're like, I'm now holding this giant golden mushroom-headed corn dog in my hand, and they're like, take a bite. And I'm thinking to myself, there is no way on God's green earth that I am raising this thing to my mouth.
And so what'd you do?
So I was like,
lactose intolerant.
Let's pull it apart. So like I go to pull it apart in apparently a very familiar and stroking motion to pull like the head.
And it's like drippy.
And it's like the cheese pull and the whole thing. And I was like, this cannot get worse. But
thank you for the visual.
Delicious. And they also do one in just cheese, which was incredible. I mean, it was like the best
giant
cheese mozzarella steak you've ever had.
That sounds amazing.
It was so good. So I forget the name of the people, but they also have like a chicken stand there as well, which they've had for a while. So super fun. There's new rides on the Midway this year. And they also had, I will say a tip for you, is if you need to cool off, that greenhouse that's kind of like right off the Midway. And there's usually a guy in there like carving stumps into like bears and whatever else. So it's a hydroponic garden now, and it's a cooler temperature in there. So word to the wise.
Oh, that is good, because that really is always what you're looking for.
Yes,
right.
I need someplace cool to be at the fair.
I think I'm going to be there like at 3 a.m. It'll be like
you're doing like that kind of.
Like
okay, so we're doing our show live 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
10
in the
a.m.
heat
to
of
11
the
a.m. is kind of the best time slot in the world.
in
though.
the heat of the morning. You know, I have mixed feelings about that.
Don't say it. Don't say it. But yes, 10 a.m. I mean, there's good, like with our business, very few people work like 9 to 5, but there's
Correct.
good and bad to all of the day parts. We actually,
I think so. Yeah.
like there's,
But like the
definitely
most normal, I
benefits.
will say for children, like the part of the day, and that honestly was when we went through this process, they were like, okay, where
do
would
you
you
want?
like
Yeah.
to be? And the first thing I thought of was like, okay, my children, like I want
Obviously.
to be at drop off and I want to be at dinner.
Yes.
So like, how can I finagle that?
Yes.
So 10 a.m. was
10 a.m. is
and then of course I have an
iconic.
11 p.m. show, but I tape that during the
Yes.
day. So that, which by the way, I have to say, I'm so proud of that show. If you're not watching Last Call with Steve
Yeah.
Noviello on Fox, so we're on 11 o'clock at night, 5 days a week. We do a preview of the same episode every night at 9:30 on KDFI 27,
I
our
did not
sister
know that.
station. And now they're starting to run on Sunday nights as a time slot. They're like, well,
Sure.
we've got Steve's show. And was it last week or the week before? 3 days in a row, we beat Fallon, Colbert, and Jimmy Kimmel combined.
I saw you post that.
Combined.
Congratulations.
I was and again, I know that people have like a misconception about how television works. I mean, but you know how it is. This is me, John Kukla, and
Yes.
Raul.
Who I saw this morning, by the way.
Raul or John Kukla?
John Kukla.
Oh, did you? At
Yes,
Good Shepherd?
yes.
Right. I did it again.
I did it again.
I'm going to
It's-
bleep it. I bleeped. Did you happen to hear our episode?
I didn't.
I bleeped out the other one. So I'm going to do it again. Like, let's mark it. Mark. Oh, son of a. But these are essentially three people
No,
who were
it's-
told, go make a TV show.
People think it's so
And-
many more.
Right. And it's
people
just
than it
not.
is.
And like the guests are so, which I'm still trying to get you on.
I know. I'm
I
kind
feel
of
like
a hot ticket.
we're gonna make
It's
it
happening.
happen.
It's
I really want you to come on. But people have been so generous with their time. We talked about Jay
People have a
Cruz and
blast.
Dee Dee. People have a blast. Our staff has a blast.
Jasmine.
Jasmine has been
Who I love.
so good. I would love to have her on all the time. Kelly Raspberry's been on. We have people like writing to us that they want to be on. We have a very, and I can't say yet, but like a total like A-list
VIP.
LA flying in celeb that
What?
wants to come on the show.
Chris Kardashian.
It's not Chris Kardashian.
Why do I want it to be Chris Kardashian?
It's not Chris Kardashian. But like in the same vein, like Stephanie Holman has been on the show, who was
she's lovely.
Leanne Lockin's been on the show. So just it's a fun show.
Have you had Tiffany Moon on?
You know what? I haven't.
I
I've
just
never met
interviewed her.
her. Is
She's
she nice?
Awesome.
Really?
Is.
And by the way, for people who know, that's the Sam Moon people, right?
It's the Sam
her
Moon
husband's
people.
family.
But she, by herself,
So she's like an
is
accomplished.
an anesthesiologist. She has a wine brand. She has a candle brand that's super funny and punny. It's like about anesthesia. Like she gave me a propofol candle. It was like cute.
I wonder. I should get her on Gift Guide. Connect me with her
Yes,
media
I will.
person.
I will. What I want to say about Tiffany Moon, and hopefully this will be helpful to anybody who's ever interviewed on media or maybe your business's approach to be a part of media, is she just did it right. She showed up on time, in glam, ready to go, makeup done, hair done, had a couple people taking pictures as we went. She knew her stuff. She sat down and then she was grateful. You know, she posted about, I posted a story, she reshared it to her massive following. And she has a massive following. She was talking about she was promoting a women's conference that she has coming up. She's really passionate about women in business, women in beauty, women in
She's
fashion.
super accomplished.
She is giving away a Birkin bag. Like a $20,000 bag at this conference, which she has several of. But I think it was just, it's not about that. It was just that there are much lesser known people who show up late, who say, I need to go get ready. And I'm like, I show up on time, ready to interview them, knowing what we're doing. It's people that show up and don't know the name of the host.
Yes.
And Tiffany having a very large following, she was on Real Housewives of Dallas also, which she joked about. She's like, yeah, not my best career move, but like, you live and you learn.
Yeah.
It was just so lovely to see somebody show up like that who still takes their job so seriously.
Well, and because she is a busy doctor, and don't they have twin girls?
They have twin girls.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, these are busy people.
So very busy, and the truth is, she doesn't need to do anything for anybody.
No.
But she really is accomplished in her own right. So
you know who was like that? Who came into our studio? Jerry O'Connell. Was in within the last year. He was going to be on Good Day, and it was a 7:00 interview, and he showed up at 5 a.m. And of course, I mean, you know how it is. Like we work, the building is not
no,
cute.
and they think they're coming in for like makeup,
right? They think you're coming in, blah blah blah. So he came in, and I think literally the EP herself had like stopped at like Eatsies the night before and bought like a bagel and like a fruit cup. And like, it wasn't like, oh, here's a spread of food and like, you're here to enjoy. Like, it was like, here's 4 items just for you. So he came in and we were like, oh, and he came in, he wandered into the studio. Hannah and I were anchoring the early news that day because Shannon was out with the baby. And we were like, oh, hey, he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm not really supposed to be here till like 7, but I was up. I'm so jet lagged. So I figured I'd like come and hang out. So
amazing.
When the show ended at 6, our part of the show, and he, again, his interview was not until 7 something. It was in the 7 a.m. Right. Like he and I just sat around and shot the shit in the hallway. And,
that is incredible.
And he was so grateful to be there and so kind. And the thing that I also liked about him, because we were having conversations about like, like I have kids, blah, blah. And he was like, oh, my friend Andy just had another baby via surrogacy. And it's like, I know that you're talking about Andy Cohen, but like, you're not making a big deal of that. Like you're just he's
really just relating to you as a person.
Like, and very engaging, like, again, like which is weird. Like when and maybe people sometimes talking to us feel this way, although to a very lesser degree, but like, it's weird when you're talking to somebody who you've just met, but like, I know your wife's name, Jerry. I know you have 2 girls. Like I know.
I know you're a dad.
Like,
you don't have to say that.
Right. Yeah. Like I know, like it's funny. I'm overly, like I just had this today. We had a contractor at the house who I knew me from my work life. And when he came over, I was like, hi, I'm Steve. And like, I'm always overly proactive about I'm never assumed that who I am.
Of course, know that you should.
So anyway, he was like,
Isn't that nice?
Like, and the part that you mentioned, grateful.
Yes.
Like grateful. And by the way, you're here promoting like the fact that you're on like Pictionary and now like The View. Like you do not need me, Jerry O'Connell. Like
it's
at
just
all.
Sort of like part of their tour, and
but
they
like,
just go with it.
So nice.
Sometimes you meet a celebrity and it's so obvious why they are a celebrity. Like this person was destined for greatness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, often you meet somebody and it's clearly the opposite, and you wonder, how did this possibly happen? Because this person is such a mess.
And don't you find that the people who are like borderline are generally the ones who are not grateful, not on time, not in makeup,
like really?
and you're like, okay, seriously, like
we barely booked you. Like we only booked you because there was a cancellation of like the mozzarella lady.
Right. The other TikTok person got sick, so welcome.
It is interesting to see now with social media guests will come on sometimes and they do have an entourage, and a lot of the people didn't even know who they were.
Yes.
But anyway,
Sherry Shepherd was in studio around Thanksgiving. Lovely. I mean, came with like the full like SUV and like all of the people and whatnot, but like was super like chill, like hanging out, up for anything. She's like, what can I do? How can I help? Like, where do you want? It's like, cool.
We have a piece on our guest sheet and it's like, is there anything you don't want to talk about?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. What are some of the, can you tell me any?
Well, like honestly, nothing noteworthy.
Bad,
I almost feel like when you come out and say that, it's like a reverse psychology.
You're like, no, I'm good.
And then people will say, no, I'm good. And that gives you, it gives you more authority to really go anywhere and then say, hey, you didn't put anything on the form, but it is interesting to see how the bigger the celebrity somebody is, the less likely they are to put something on the no list.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. And it makes me think there's a reason why you're a celebrity, because you're giving and you're generous and you're open and you're free flowing. You're not tight-lipped and paranoid and thinking people are out to get you, that sort of thing.
For sure.
Anyway, what are you doing for Halloween?
Okay, what celebrity am I gonna? Right, back to our parenting podcast. Now that we're done catching up with each other. Okay, so Halloween this year. So as for people who are regular listeners, know that you are such a gracious host to us. For Halloween, we usually come to your neighborhood with Reed and DJ, who we're just gonna have on the show at some point. Because
I know, because everyone's been hearing about it.
Who are these people? Reed's a stylist at Highland Park Village. If you ever need anything, he's incredibly talented at what he does. And of course, TJ's over at Grant Halliburton Foundation, making a difference in lives of young kids. So they come and again, like talk about gracious, like in costume, like to hang out with our kids and your kids nicest. On the nicest people. Like they're so lovely. You have a good Halloween neighborhood.
It's
like,
good walkable,
it's
good
walkable.
Candy volume.
There's a lot of people. Like there's a whole kind of situation here. Doug, of course, also very into it. This year, Doug said, "Do you think that we're going to go to Heath and Jenny's for Thanksgiving, for Halloween?" And I said, yes, I think for sure.
Let's do
like
it.
I'm assuming that way. He said, well, I think that we should host. What?
Oh.
I said, what?
Oh.
In our home? Like, what? Like, my husband. Like, that is very antithetical. Is that the right word? Like, and I said, well, he said, well, they're always so gracious to us. We should return the favor.
We do nothing.
And I was like,
it's like pizza. But
that's the whole thing about hanging out at your house. Like I had that blog post about like your husband one day, like where we ate pizza out of a box. And I was like, this is so nice.
So nice.
Like I was like, I'm bringing a friend who's a complete stranger who actually now is a teacher at your child's school.
Yeah, which is so fun. Yeah.
Right. And he was like, cool, bring him. And I was like, really? Like I've been to people's homes where they'd be like, well, who is it? Who does he know? Like what?
And like, how old are the kids? Like, well, they met.
Right. He's like, cool, great. We're going to have pizza in a box. I'm like, okay, let's eat
and it wasn't like he says it and then does something different. It's literally just what it is. And that's all our Halloween is. And then immediately when you say that, I'm like, oh, was Doug like, I'm so over their crappy pizza. Like I cannot do one more year of dressing up and eating this cardboard pizza.
No, he loves it. But I was like, I did say to him, because we don't have a great trick or treat street.
I'm surprised.
I know, me too. I really was.
Like what?
So I'm like, are we thinking like bounce house and like petting zoo situation, or like trick or treating and let's go deeper into the neighborhood, like where like there are some streets in our neighborhood like where it's like they like close down the street and there's like a freaking circus happening, on Halloween. So anyway, I'm told to extend the invitation to you because my husband would like to host Halloween. Do you guys have costumes yet?
Brighton wants to be, I want to do a family costume because Gemma.
Of course.
Like she's just such a delicious, cute little person. Yeah. And so Brighton wants to be Hermione. So then I was thinking from Harry Potter, and then I was thinking Gemma could be the owl.
Okay.
And then I don't know. I guess I have to be like Dumbledore for something. I don't know. So we don't have anything figured out except for that Brighton wants to be Hermione.
Would no one be Harry Potter?
Well, Heath could be Harry Potter, or I guess I could be Harry. I guess I don't know. I'm still kind of. Maybe I could be the owl. I don't know.
What was Maggie Smith? What was her role in Harry Potter? Wasn't she in Harry Potter?
I don't know.
Yeah. She just
Dobby.
passed away. I don't know. I'm not really familiar. I've seen one. I'm not familiar
Gemma
with it.
could be Dobby, I guess.
I do like, how do you feel about the baby costumes where it's like, I'm like a chef and like I'm carrying a pot and my baby's dressed as a lobster, like as if they're in boiling water. I think those are so cute, even though like you're boiling your baby.
With Gemma, I saw a dinosaur costume that would be perfect for Gemma because she like all of a sudden has this crazy dinosaur voice. It's like, it's like very pterodactyl, like adjacent. And what I imagine a pterodactyl would be. So I just think she would be a cute pterodactyl because she makes the noise all the time.
Okay, speaking of which, and remind me to come back to Halloween, but side note here about pterodactyl, I was thinking about this the other day because this is how much spare space is in my brain. Like, so like, how do we know? Like
what a pterodactyl.
Correct.
That's why I said adjacent. I don't know.
But like, how do we even, like, for all we know, dinosaurs roamed the earth and were like, hey, what's up?
Land before time is where I get my history.
But like, how do we know? There's nobody that recorded it. There's nobody left that like was there when it happened, right? Like, how do we know that that's what they sounded like? I'm sure that there's some like archaeologist who's like, well, based on their vocal cords and the bones that we found in their such and such, that we can infer that the vibration of their blah, blah, blah. But I think about stuff like that. Anyway.
My imagery is solely based on Land Before Time and Jurassic Park. So that's all I've got. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm going to delete that though. I'm going to delete that from my brain.
Well, you put it on your list.
I'm going to put it on my list. I'm talking to Heath about it. That's a great idea.
Listen, honey, now that we know what we're having for dinner, I have a question. Have you ever thought about? Okay, so back to Halloween. When Jacob was a baby, this was before, because we used to do the family costume, which I loved. Like, I'm no Neil Patrick Harris. He kind of ruined it for all the homosexuals. But we did.
You guys are so good.
Well, so we did, the first one with Jacob was, we did Ghostbusters. Daddies were Ghostbusters. And we dressed Jacob up as the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It was so cute. Like, we did the full on jumpsuits and the guns and him and his it was so cute. And then the next year, Hudson still wasn't born because he's born in December. So we did Thing 1 and Thing 2, and Jacob was Cat in the Hat.
Cute.
And then we've done like superheroes, and we've done Mario with them last year. Was it last year?
I think so. Yeah. Because were there two Princess Peaches?
Or
Princess Peach? Is that it?
My mother-in-law was Princess Peach, and maybe Reed and TJ were also Mario and Luigi.
What Brighton thought that was what it was.
There was a
because we were just talking about it recently.
A giant number of, and then we ran into another family that was also dressed like us, right? I love a good Halloween group costume, but I also feel like the boys are
Like they want to do their own thing.
So Hudson wants to be a rock star, which I'm like all over. I'm like, let's do it.
It doesn't need a costume.
Exactly.
That's
I'm like, okay, so we'll just give you a bucket and off you go. And Jacob has not decided yet. He's still kind of trying to figure it out. He's obsessed with Minecraft, so I'm surprised that there's not some sort of like Minecraft thing.
Surely there is.
Like that he wants to be. So I'd like to go to the store with him because I think that's fun. And then I was reading an article the other day that Uber and I think DoorDash, but definitely Uber, is now doing delivery from Spirit Halloween stores, which I think ruins it.
No, I don't want to go in that store.
But don't like you want to go with Brighton and like you pick, oh, look at this. Oh, we could be this. Look at this. And like, blah, 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 you know, like
yes. If I only had one child, yes. But like with Gemma in the
finally,
pack,
finally, it's music to my ears. Remember when you used to only have one kid, and I was like, I can't wait till you have two kids and you understand,
what? Oh my gosh,
like what it means to just not have one other human with you, but two.
It's
like,
definitely harder.
One who can't breathe without you near them.
Yes, it's definitely harder. So Gemma's always in the pack. Yeah. I can't try things on with her in the pack. I just order all my clothes from Amazon until the end of time.
Me too.
But no, that is definitely fun to go to the Halloween store and experience those things. But yeah.
Especially when you go to a spirit store, because the first thing you do is you get there and you're like, what was this last week? Was this an Academy Sports? Was it a...
Oh, I know.
Was it a... Was it a supermarket?
Bed Bath & Beyond.
Was it a Bed Bath & Beyond? Like, what was it? Like...
Babies R Us.
Babies R... Right. What were these things? So...
who's going to be the Australian breakdancer?
Okay, so we were talking about this on Last Call the other day. So they were like, so the hot Halloween costumes, by the way, Mudang. Do you know who that is?
Don't.
Do you know I can't believe you on your show haven't talked about Mudang, the baby hippo that's like viral. There's like a whole makeup trend.
Oh yes. It's a whole it's a whole thing. Of course.
So that they said,
so cute.
They said anything Moana, like Moana and Maui are probably going to be big. Cute. Beetlejuice because of the reboot of the movie. What else? Bluey, of course, and a couple of things. And I was like, okay, but like I feel like if you're going to the right party, like you're going to see. Like, I think that there's going to be some sort of like both sides of the aisle, like
political.
There's going to be some ear bandages happening.
Yes.
I think there's going to be
some eyeliner,
some coconut trees happening. There's going to be some eyeliner based on one of the vice presidential nominees. I think that there's going to be the Australian breakdancer. I think is going to be a hot costume. I also think if you're going to the right party, the pole vaulter whose lower extremity interrupted his vault.
I hate when
I think that's going to be a thing. And what else was I saying? I think that some sort of like not sexy, but like some sort of like Diddy baby oil Costco combo. Yeah. Like if you've got a really creative friend.
Yeah. You've got to do that right.
But you got to do it right. Yeah. And extra points for the Costco if you like get the Costco reference in there as well.
Yes.
So I think that those. So I don't know what I'm going to be.
I don't have any of those on my list.
Maybe Doug and I can be Australian breakdancers.
You should. Oh my gosh, because how fun would that be to just be doing the moves?
Well, I mean, let's not get crazy.
No, but they're the bunny.
Right, for her,
like,
right.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, you don't actually have to break dance.
There are no moves.
Thing.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yes. Well, so anyway, you're cordially invited to our home.
I think invitation accepted.
Okay. Well, let me talk to Doug.
Tell. But
what's dusk these days?
Here's the rule though. He can't just be like. If he's gonna go and make it like a whole
all in.
No. I'm saying if he's gonna go all in, then he has to host it from now until the end of time. Because I'm not gonna then invite you back to my like low rent, low budget pizza party.
I love your low budget pizza party.
So if he's gonna go all out, that is fine. But that means he's taking Halloween until the kids are
okay. You guys will be in charge of illegal fireworks on the 4th of July. We will take Halloween.
Yeah.
And go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it'll be super cash. Like, I mean, but we do Doug loves decorating for Halloween.
Oh, that's
fun.
He
loves decorating the outside of the house. Like he wants to scare the crap out of children that come by. We had this like 10-foot skeleton that like lunged out of a tree at you last year. And the Ring doorbell video is hysterical of these kids like pissing themselves because they were so afraid to come up to our house.
It's good show content.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. Yeah.
I like that.
It's a very America's Funniest Home Video, or as Doug likes to call it, original TikTok.
Original TikTok. Oh, Doug, that is very OG.
All right. That's our time for today. Hey, we do want to thank you for tuning in, and you can find a new episode of our podcast every Tuesday morning on your favorite podcast platform. Do us a favor. Go ahead and click like and subscribe so you always know when a new episode is coming out, and that way we get better metrics, we get better content. It's a win-win for everybody. And if you do nothing else today, go find yourself a friend you don't need to clean the house for.